Since Netflix is afraid of the weekly release schedule, I will fill in for them. This is week number 2 of me reviewing One Piece Season 2. Last video I did episodes 1 through 3. This time I'm going to review episode 4 and episode 5 of One Piece Season 2, Into the Grand Line. But before we do that, this is what I do and this is what I talk about. I love talking about movies and shows. One Piece has been a great show so far, so I've been having a blast talking about it. Outside of that, I like talking about stuff in the fantasy genre, superhero genre. I just reacted to a Spider-Man trailer. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please check out my channel and see if there's anything else that you like. Any sort of support, whether it be a like or subscription, it helps out immensely, so thank you. So where did we last leave off? The Straw Hats and Northwest escaped Whiskey Peak Island after this big battle, and then Nico Robin showed up on their ship. That's where we left off. Now we are on to episode 4, Big Trouble in Little Garden. Nico Robin was on their ship. She threw flower petals in their face. She said, "You should go and hide like a bunch of wussies." And Luffy was having none of that. He snatched the log post that she gave them and crushed it. He's like, "I'm not hiding. I'm not afraid of anything." So Nico Robin did a trust fall into the sea, disappeared, and then the Straw Hats were on their way to Little Garden Island. Apparently dinosaurs are back. They all decided to huddle up on Little Garden Island, and they're just chilling there. They didn't know that at first, but Sanji and Zoro went out to find food, and the others went out exploring. Sanji and Zoro have a little clashing going on where they want to take down the biggest beast, and they see a T-Rex. Let's go. Luffy and Vivi go off on their own thing. Luffy rides a dinosaur because he loves riding crazy exotic animals. Reminds me of Avatar Aang. So they had a moment on top of a Brontosaurus's head. Is Brontosaurus a real thing? I don't think so. I just made it up. But Brachiosaurus, whatever it is. Usopp got scared. He went back to the boat. Nami went after him. So Nami convinces Usopp, "Stop being a pussy. Let's go out there." Usopp's like, "You know what? You're right, Nami." They went out together. And who did they run into? A giant. What was his name? They ran into none other than the giant Bragi. They thought they were going to get eaten, but the giant just wanted company. He gave them some stew. They ate that stew. Over on the other side, we have Zoro and Sanji fighting a T-Rex. Zoro slices its belly. Sanji breaks its neck. They fight about who killed it. Sanji stays, and he's like chopping up the meat so that he can cook a damn dinosaur. Zoro gets painted on by a little child running through the woods. I know, it's crazy. Anyways, then we got Luffy and we got Vivi. They run into another giant. This one's name is Dory. No, not the fish from Finding Nemo, but a giant with a giant beard and a giant head and giant sword. Back in the other cave with the other giant, Usopp is telling tall tales like he always does, and he pronounces himself Usopp, the brave, what do he call himself? Master of Destruction or something. Brogy believes him. He's like, "Wow, this guy is cool." And then the volcano erupts. Volcano erupts, which is, I guess, the signal for the two giants to fight. So they get out of their caves, they walk up to each other, and they're ready to battle. By this time, we got two groups going on. On one side, we got Nami, Usopp, and Froggy. On the other side, we got Luffy, Vivi, and Bori. So Froggy and Toggy start battling it out, but before they do that, they have a drink together because they're best of friends with benefits and they have respect for each other. So they share a drink. Apparently one of the drinks is poisoned, but we don't know that yet. Oh yeah, we've got the other Baroque Works people after the Straw Hats, so they're scattered about the island. Booger guy put a booger bomb in the one dude's drink, and obviously having a booger in your drink will mess anybody up. So Sloggy had an upset tummy that affected his performance. So as they're battling it out, this big epic battle between the two giants, one of them starts to slip up because of his stomach and then ends up getting stabbed. Usopp is very upset because Usopp, this whole time, which actually I really respect, is Usopp is kind of thinking about his role as a warrior on the high seas. That was his goal in the first place, was to be this mighty warrior. And he is witnessing two big mighty warriors, no matter how goofy their names are. But he is like, he's having this character moment where he's like, wow, I respect these guys. I want to be like that. I'm a coward. I don't want to be a coward. I want to be brave and honorable like these giants. So obviously Usopp is upset. He tries to stop the fight once he notices that something is wrong, but it's already too late. And Chidori not accidentally, but he stabs Troggy in the tummy. And yeah, he gets hurt. And then what happens after that? Oh yeah, at this point, Nami got painted on as well. A magic paint that changes everyone's personality. So first of all, Zoro is affected by this. He gets captured. Nami is affected by this paint. She gets captured. And then finally, Vivi as well gets affected by this paint. And she's captured as well. Luffy runs off after Booger Guy because he's like, how dare you interfere with this fight? He runs after him, tries to catch him. So they're all split up. Usopp is like tumbling down the hill, sad about Brogy getting killed, he thought, at the moment. And then everyone else is just scattered. At that point, 3 of the members of the Straw Hats, Nami, Vivi, and Zoro, are captured by the candle guy, Mr. 3, who looks extremely sick, lacks sunlight. But they got captured by him. They're in his wax hut. And that is where the episode ends. I really enjoyed this, mainly because of the environment, the island, the huge giants, the story of the giants fighting, and the character work that is happening with Usopp. For that reason, I gave this an 8.0 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Some parts of it were like, I could really feel it, especially with Usopp, like I said. And already I mentioned that Usopp is one of my favorite out of the crew, especially the actor for this Usopp. I think he does a great job. Same applies for this episode. All right, so this episode left off on a cliffhanger. Now we are on to episode number 5, Wax On, Wax Off. The big part of this, now that half the crew is captured, everyone else is scattered away, Luffy gets painted on as well. Not good, not good. So Usopp thinks he's the only one there. He's seeing all these people get captured. He overhears that Luffy is now some plaything for this crazy girl who paints things, and he tries to go help Luffy. He gets overwhelmed, runs away before the lady gets back. He's trying to figure out a plan. He's trying to be brave. I think he runs all the way back to the giant, maybe. I don't even know what's happening. Candle Wax Guy is off doing crazy stuff. He's trying to kill the giants so that they don't get in the way of Candle Guy's plan to kill the Straw Hats. Candle Guy turns Dory into a suspicious white fluid statue, and then he moves on to handle the 3 Straw Hats that he has captured. He takes them, he makes this big wedding cake, he puts them onto there, still stuck by the wax, which is his power, apparently. He's a wax guy. I know, it's crazy. So he puts them on a cake. He wants to turn them into statues, into art. That's his thing. Usopp is losing his shit because everyone's like already getting like captured or affected by this crazy paint. And he's just like, I want to be a hero, but I can't because I'm a coward. But you know who is a hero? The boy Sanji, one of my favorites. He's just chilling. He's getting some meat, providing for the fam, going out there, bringing back the food. He cut up his T-Rex. He brought it back. He's like, where the heck is everyone? So then he starts taking a stroll, and he just stumbles upon the wax hut. What does he do? He goes in. He's looking around. He's like, what the hell is this place? A phone call comes. Like any good secretary, he answers it, and guess who's on the other line? Mr. Zero, the suspicious-looking person on the other line, who is the head of this group. I have no idea what his name could possibly be, but he answers the phone. The crocodile guy, Mr. Zero, at first thinks that it's still the wax guy, Mr. 3, but it's actually Sanji. Sanji's like, oh crap, this is great. So Sanji's trying to cover for everyone. He's like, oh yeah, they're taken care of. We already eliminated everyone, so you don't got to worry about it. But Mr. Zero already sent out some of his best agents, a flying ostrich and an otter on top of his back with a machine gun. So they come, they shoot at Sanji. Sanji's like, hell, I'm dipping. Runs into the candle wax hut, fights him off with some kicks, almost dies from an otter, but he, of course, because Sanji's Sanji and he's the best, he prevails. He beats the vulture, he beats the otter, and he says, you know what, Mr. Zero, you're a loser. hang up. He leaves. He's trying to find everyone. Is he? I forget. Maybe he doesn't, because you know who the hero becomes? Usopp. He locks in. He's like, I need to save everyone. First, he saves Luffy. He goes to the beach again where Luffy's having a tea party, and he helps him because, oh, dude, that part too, that was crazy. The crazy paint girl was making Luffy lose hope in his dream. I will say the last video, I had critiques on the actors in general, a lot of them, and I said something about Luffy. I take that back now. Luffy's actor in this episode was crazy, especially during that tea party scene, because he, like, the change of emotions that are going on from like sad to angry to hopeless, just switch. He did a great job, and it was tugging at my heartstrings. I'm like, no, Luffy, you're the most optimistic, perfect person in terms of like fulfilling someone's dreams, to have that undying want to become king of the pirates, to fulfill your dreams. That's Luffy. He is the backbone of this crew, of this story, and to see him start to break like that. But then Usopp comes in, he saves him, drags him out. Usopp runs back to the candle guy, Mr. 3, and then booger guy, Mr. 5, and then heavy and light girl, Miss Valentine, to be brave. Him and Luffy, they run there. At this point, Nami, Zoro, Vivi are almost completely covered in the suspicious white substance, which hardens. Ew, gross. And they will be stuck in there forever. By the time they get there, it's like all covering their face. They can't breathe anymore. So things are going down. Luffy runs after Candle Wax Guy because whatever. So Sanji is left to fight two people all by himself. And then he has the grand idea. He used his head, literally, and he let the one lady beat him up, beat his head up against the candle wax, and then it shattered, just like Scrat in the Ice Age. And Zoro was free, Nami was free, Vivi was free. They broke out, they did some fighting. Zoro still had his feet stuck, but he was going ham against Mr. 5. That part was epic. Usopp was just kind of trying to stick with it all, trying to still be there, but he was concussed. But he was still doing his thing. And then the girls were fighting girls, and it was a great fight just in general. And then at the end, Luffy starts getting beat up by Candle Wax Guy because Candle Wax Guy makes a bunch of wax figures of himself. They fight each other, and then they end up all winning. And then apparently both the giants are alive too, and they give them a Viking send-off. And they slash a big old goldfish, and the crew is on their way once again to find Alabasta, because the boy Sanji found an eternal log post pointing to Alabasta. Let's go, Sanji. And the very last thing I will say about this episode is that I liked how they had a little fun friendship part at the end. And that was such a vibe, and it made me happy to see them happy. That was episode number 5, Wax On, Wax Off. I will also give this one an 8.0 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Both of these episodes were great. I was like really struggling with the 2 scores for this, but I just ended up giving them both 8s because I enjoyed a lot about both of them. That being said, that is my review for these 2 episodes. I will have one more video about One Piece. This will probably come out next week, where I then review the final 3 episodes. I'm excited for that. If that's something that you want to see, please check out my channel and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on it. But for this video, if you got this far and you enjoyed it, please leave a like down below. And if you have any thoughts on my review or these episodes in general, just make sure to put those down in the comments. I love reading through what you guys have to say. It's always a blast. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I'm loving this show a lot so far. I love this story just in general. The story is a great one. I'm having a blast watching it in live action form because I think they do a great job transferring it to the live action. It's a fun time. It's a blast. I love it. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I had to talk about for these 2 episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.